Hey guys, T-sportline here, showing you how to install your very own CP9 CarPlay screen in your Tesla Model 3 Highland. Let's get into it. The tools required for this job are a small screwdriver, a pry tool, and a T20 bit or key. I have the contents of the kit laid out in front of us right now. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our screen and the steering column base, and we're going to use the supplied hardware to mount the screen to the base. So we'll take our yellow and red wires and they'll route through on the right side, and the blue will end up going on the left side. You can place the hardware in the two holes and fasten them down. Then we'll move on over to the car. Hopping in the driver's seat, we're going to take off 3 panels. The steering column cover, this right side panel, and then this kick panel. We'll use our supplied pry tool to get under these lips. You can rotate it, pull it out. Note that there's these clips that clamp on, so you can't just pull straight out, you'll kind of have to roll it a little bit out. Before we remove the driver's side kick panel, we need to remove the T20 headed bolt on the side of the dash. We'll set it aside for installation. With the bolt removed, we can pop the pins and start removing our trim panel. Moving to the steering column cover, you can either use a pry tool and get between these gaps, or you can use your hands to kind of sandwich the plastic to have the ends pop up. Kind of just work your way around it. To pop the cover off. With the steering column cover off, we kind of come to the more difficult section of this install, and that's fishing our wiring harness through the column cover that's remaining and through this back side of the dash. So underneath this column cover section. With the rear column cover pried a little bit up, you can kind of see into the column, and you can start placing your wire to the right side of the column. Now you can use fishing wire, you can use a coat hanger. This is just what I had available. We'll fish it to the underside of this under column cover, right here. With your wire through, we can start by taping our blue and our red wires. I grabbed a little section of duct tape, kind of roll and cover the tops as best we can. Trying to get it as small as possible to fit through the steering column. It might take a little bit of finagling to get it through. Grabbing these 2 red and blue wires, we can grab our screen, grab the corresponding red and blue wires that come from the screen, and plug them together. Note that the yellow wire will be used if you opted for the forward-looking camera. We don't have this in the kit, so we're not going to install it today. And if we have a little extra slack, we can take up the slack down below and then line up top and bottom, pop it together. And we're gonna route this cable to the right. We're gonna mount it up and over our center console and under our infotainment screen to the passenger side. Moving over to the passenger side, we're gonna see our wire from our driver's side, and we're gonna end up routing it underneath the glove box door. The panels we'll need to remove are this side panel and this kick panel where we're gonna get the power from. And just like before, try to not bend these tabs as we pull it out. While we're here, we can pop the one trim clip set it aside. All right, we're gonna pop this one down. There's 2 magnets that are holding it up. And then a clip in the back, or more of a locating pin in the back. And make sure you remove the speaker wire. You can set this aside. So for this one, we need to pull it kind of back like this. It's a little bit tricky getting this panel out from around, there we go, around these trim panels. But here you can kind of, it will expose all the wiring, and these are the 2 ports we're looking for. So what we'll end up doing, we don't need to wire it all the way yet, but we'll get it all plugged in. This is the open port. We'll put the start of our harness in there. This one will be remaining loose. So essentially, if you do need something to plug into this port, you can use this one right here. And for the power port right here, we're gonna use a jumper to essentially keep this connection while also pulling power from the outlet. Before reinstalling any of the trim, we want to go to our screen. We want to make sure it's powered. If it's dark and not getting power, you're going to want to figure out what connection is loose before everything goes back together. So checking here, we have power, so we're good to go. So looking under the infotainment screen, we're going to make sure that our wire's in its proper set location that we put it in earlier before we start popping in our driver's kick panel, starting passenger, moving to driver's side. And I usually set the clips starting on the passenger side, moving to the left. We're just gonna take the wire, make sure it's tucked right below the lip. We don't want to push it up as to get in the way of the glove box. Essentially, we'll have it pulled out here in the bottom. We could tuck the remaining wires away. A zip tie could be helpful, but not necessary. We can start to put all our panels back. The lower trim in place, and here we can put our pin in. And we'll get our panel that will slide sideways and then snap. We'll have to fix the weather strip that is now on the inside. Be a little bit tricky at first. Sometimes you can work it with your fingers, sometimes you need a pry tool. You go down as far as you need. We popped it a little bit up here. We'll make sure that this is all corrected. Returning the passenger footwell cover, we're gonna make sure that we have our speaker wire plugged in. A little snap, and make sure that we're lined up with our tabs. And our magnets. Gonna find where those clips are located. Slowly move your way, work your way over. And we will need to use our trim tool. Just push little pieces of fabric back into their proper location for an OEM look. Moving over to the driver's side. From here, we can reinstall our T20 headed bolt. And the side trim panel. And then, like on the passenger side, pull the weather seal out and restore it to its original spot. And just like that, you've just installed your very own CP9 screen in your Tesla Model 3 Highland. I hope you enjoyed, and follow us for the next one.